How's it going, everyone? Got Robbo today and got some wet bottle brush. I'd like to do a winged bowl with it, aka the knuckle dusters, but if it doesn't work, I've got another piece here, so it's not a big issue. Got this mongoloid piece here. This has got some couple of good knots in it there. See what happens, eh? So if you hear a little bit of light banging, Robbo, it's the corrugated plastic I've got on the roof of my shed.
Oh, yeah.
It's slightly windy today, to say the least.
We haven't got much wind. It's just cold and wet.
Yeah. It's like a Arctic breeze today. Arctic breeze. It's very chilly. And I got a compressor. A baby one.
Yeah, can't see it.
Yeah, not really meant to be honest. You can just see the blue box. So
yeah,
it's an old early 80s nebulizer machine.
Oh,
which is basically a compressor.
Yeah.
So I'll see. I'll give that a go. I don't think it'll work very well on the wet pieces, but I'll give it a go later.
Blair says he can't go live, but he's watching you.
Can't or won't? How you going, Blair?
Watching on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it's Mother's Day over there today, so I didn't expect any of them to be on, to be honest. Just got to do some grinding.
And how did your daughter go in the dance thing yesterday, Blair? Or whenever it was. Yesterday, here anyway. Oh, yeah. From what I saw of the picture, it looked like she was doing a 1930s Charleston style thing, was it?
Yeah, you put some pictures on Facebook. I haven't had a chance to go check it out yet.
Yeah, I saw them this morning. Well, I saw Blair's ugly head in it.
This freaking mouse.
That's the best thing about being as good looking as what we are, Blair. Our kids always look better than we do.
Sorry, I'm just got to say something. Just got to send a message to Amber.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, it was Mother's Day here yesterday. And I've got a funny feeling it was Mother's Day in England as well, yesterday as well. G'day, Dr. Bob.
No, actually, I think they have their Mother Day in a different month. Right,
I don't know. Well, Steve did say Happy Mother's Day yesterday, so or on his live last night. He
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
have been referring to the rest of the thing. But Mother's Day is Migration Day in Australia. It's when all the grey nomads will be on the road today. They head off on Mother's Day and come home Father's Day.
See, if you'd watched my live yesterday, Blair, you would know that it was your Mother's Day here yesterday. How you going, Dr. Bob?
It's Mother's Day today here.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. If
Yeah.
if Blair watched my live yesterday, he would have known that it was Mother's Day for us the day before.
Well, it's the same. Well, that's a technicality. Because when you logged off last night at midnight, it was Mother's Day here for us. So for a few hours, we had it at the same time.
The switch worked perfect for me this morning. Now I go and turn it on, it just keeps popping back out.
No.
Huh.
You know what? I've got a passionate hate for lathe on-off switches. I really have. I'm sick to death of them.
Yeah, it's not as if it's a circuit breaker type switch. It's just a mechanical locking switch. So, Robo, how are you doing?
Pretty good, except it's raining and cold here, and it's kind of upset my plans a little bit because everything I have to do is outside at the moment. So
Same here. Raining and cold. It's been that way all day and yesterday. It's the change of season. Always seems to be that way.
Yep.
Well, it is Mother's Day, and Mother Nature's a fickle woman.
Move your tool rest in a little bit, Jay.
Is that just the camera shutter, or is he turning slowly?
No, it's turning slow. It's probably on a slower speed.
I had it
Few
on
more
speed
take.
3.
No,
Do you want it on the lowest speed?
no.
No.
You put it on the speed where it doesn't vibrate. The
Yeah.
fastest you can get out of it.
Yeah.
Particularly when you're doing something like that because you're turning not 50% fresh air.
Yeah, the razor works better when you take the protective cap off of it, young man.
Nah, better with it. I don't tell him what I'm doing. This is man's business.
He got it for Christmas. I got him a electric razor
I said this is a man's business.
so he could shave.
Yeah, totally. I don't have a beard. I don't have a beard. No, I mean, I have a mustache going in, but I don't have a beard.
You will.
I can't use it.
It's called peach fuzz. That's been our nickname for it. Oh, that looks really spectacular wood. So since it was cool and wet, did you get anything done? Or did you just get a chance to do some crazy turning for fun?
I don't get a chance to do crazy turning for fun much.
Since turning is your profession and has been one of many, do you ever do it for fun or
Oh,
recreation?
oh yeah, occasionally I'll see an idea that I want to play with, and I'll doodle with that sometimes on a Saturday or a Sunday, just to say, been there, done that.
Wondered because a lot of people just whatever their profession is, they don't seem to take it up as a hobby too, or do it. You know, it's like the barber's kids are the one that have the sloppy hair that
Mm.
need cutting. Then it's the cobbler's kids are the ones that need the new shoes.
I have to insert myself into this conversation
Good.
because, Robbo,
Mm.
are you sure you want to turn anything like that ever again?
Sorry, what was that?
Are you sure you want to turn anything like fancy dancy like that ever again?
Uh, yeah, sometimes I get the urge, but not often.
I gave you an idea and you liked it, and that's as far as it went.
Yeah, no, well, not to put too fine a point on it, I've been having a few problems, so.
I just had to get my opinion out there, since you I'll give you something to do, and
Yeah. No, I appreciated that, but I just didn't have the ambition to do it, if you know what I mean.
I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about. Yeah, lack of.
That I know too. It takes someone sometimes to yell at me to get out in the shop and do something and stop staring at the boob tube.
I appreciate Sid's offer, but I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to say, mate, come and collect your lathe. This on-off switch is pissing me off. Fucking
Robo, can't he use just a common, since you live on 240, just a regular wall switch, industrial one? And
Yep. Yeah, that's generally what I do. As soon as the switch gives trouble on mine, I take them off and put a just normal, well, we call them GPOs, general power outlets. Just a normal switch on the wall that you plug into that you plug things into.
yeah, and then
Or
bypass
mo-
the switch on the
yeah,
lathe.
yeah. Most of my lathes have 4 or 5 double power points on them, because that way I can plug like drills, grinders, whatever else I need into them
Yeah,
to
I
save
do
having
too.
extension leads all over the place.
Well, what I like, and I've done, is I have a power strip that's rated at least at 15 amps. Sometimes in the industrial ones, metal ones at 20, which is our max for a common outlet. And I'll put the magnets on it, glue them on with epoxy, so they stick to the metal lathe bed or side of the lathe or back of the lathe. And I've got one on each lathe, that way that it just sits there and it has 8 outlets.
Yep.
And if you want to pick it up and move it, just take it off because it's magnetic and move it. And today, it was one of those days that, you go into the shop and you want to do something and you can't think of what. You just want to get out, some fresh air, listen to some music.
Yeah,
And
don't take too much more off, Jay. That's looking pretty good.
I found a project I had started a while ago, like maybe 4 years ago, stuck in the corner of my toolbox because it was one of those days when, well, what am I going to do next? And you just get disgusted looking at the box and you think, well, it finally needs to get the sawdust and the shavings out of it. So you take, everything out and clean it out with a shop vac and blow it out and put everything back in the drawers they're supposed to be in, because I got to roll around from probably 2/3 of my turning tools. And I come across the project I had stuck in a plastic baggie and forgot all about it. So I finished, or almost, I've got to put a finish on it. I've just got to do, and that's just a little box.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm not a carver, but because it shows I'm not a carver, but I wanted to try it. I had taken and cut a slit around the top with a saw and stuck a copper wire in there.
Yeah.
And that's
I
where I
must,
kind of left a little box.
I must admit, I've never been interested in carving much.
Me neither, because I'm not good at it. But it was there, and I felt, well, it's probably been 5, maybe 7 years. So either throw it out or finish it. So I put on the magnifying glasses and got the little bitty carving tools out. I did it because a friend of mine gave me a set,
Oh, yeah.
and I'd used it 2 or 3 times on some urns and stuff. And it was a lot of work for, and I won't say for nothing, but I all I got to do now, I've got it sanded to 1200, and I finished, I think, cleaning out the pattern on the top, which it's sloppy, but it'll do. I got a box that's going off to my sister, a birthday present, so I'll throw that in there for her. And she'll cherish it.
Yep.
And of course, find something to go in it. You ever do any airbrush work other than commercial, like painting of vehicles?
Yeah, I've played around. I've got a full set of airbrush and paints and everything else. I've got boxes of paints and dyes and things I've played around with over the years. Yeah, see you later, Blair. Thanks for coming in.
See you, Blair. Take it easy. Say hello to your mum for us. Again.
Yeah, yesterday I received the package, and I'm not sure who sent it. It was an Amazon shipment to me, and the from was just the word someone, but it was a color set of 56 different paints for airbrushes. But you got to thin them down to use them. I sure don't know how I'm going to use them all, but I'll find some way of using them.
Make a multicolored bowl that uses all the colors.
Yeah, the paint set would be better in your hands. You
Right.
use color all the time.
Now, is that what you're talking about, Jay? The chuck, tightening and loosening the chuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's what I was saying. The Technotool chucks go backwards. Most other chucks go the other way, clockwise to tighten. Technotools don't.
Is that what this lathe is?
No, that's what the chuck is. The
Is
chuck,
Nova.
the chuck's totally different from the lathe.
Yeah, I know that. Well, It's
Yeah.
is Nova Technotool, is it?
The chuck is a Technotool, like Technotool
No.
chuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they're all Chinese anyway, aren't they? Other than One Way, they make them in Ontario,
No,
Canada.
Vic Marker Australian.
Hmm.
And Technotool used to be made in New Zealand until they went to China a few years ago.
But that
I know
downgraded their quality.
Sorry?
I've got, well, you can't always knock China. Sometimes they really, on some of their tools, they really make good tools out of. The CNC work is excellent.
Look, it's the same. It's the same as Japan and then Taiwan. They started out
Yeah.
producing crap stuff, and then they got better and better and better at it. Only problem was, the better they got at it, the more the price went up. So they had to go and find somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, and
And I
one
think,
thing that we're seeing on that cycle is that the price has to go up to pay for the expensive machining equipment for single, what do they call it? Cell machining, where everything is done on one machine or two machines, load the parts, and it's all CNC. Taking a rough casting, but they don't even do castings anymore on their stuff, it seems. It's just cheap to cut it out of CNC. So
no,
I've got some excellent stuff from China lately, uh, which has surprised me.
no, the biggest problem is that what happens is that the workforce decides that they need more money to do the job that they do, like Westerners do, and then they price themselves out. The next country will be India, I reckon, where most of our stuff will come from.
It could be, but that's going to take a big infrastructure change.
Uh,
They got to have the utilities to do it, the power and the power distribution. And you
they've
don't
got
want
it.
it in the big cities. You want it in the smaller communities where it's a locked-in workforce. Though I don't doubt India, because of their population size, is going to be a boom.
Well, it's either
It
going to
is.
be India. It's either going to be India or Africa, and I don't think Africa's got the infrastructure at the moment, but India has.
Yeah, but they need wider streets. God, I keep seeing videos about some of the big cities, and I'd be afraid to walk in them. I remember when Bangkok and Thailand were rough, but nothing like I see India.
G'day, Chris.
Howdy, Chris. And the one thing that a country is going to need, of course, is export and a good export system, because
How you going,
they got
Chris? How you
G'day,
going,
Mike.
Mike?
the
Sorry, Dr. Bob.
yeah.
I think that India actually is better placed than China for export because it's virtually right on the Mediterranean and everything else. So, and it's the most uh, eastern part of Asia that they've got fairly free access to a lot of markets over there.
Yeah, I don't see. I don't know if it's just don't see much import from there, but I've seen probably 80% of the stuff I've seen with labels has been clothing, but not as much so now from India as I do. Well, you can't guess China because their labels here are so misleading.
No, actually, there's an interesting thing I was watching the other day because of COVID at the moment on fashion. Most, I think they said something like 75 to 80% of all fashion stuff, like the Gucci, all of those comes from India.
The high end stuff.
Yeah.
I've heard that. The stuff that you and I can't afford.
Well, I don't know about not being able to afford it. I just refuse to pay that much for a bloody T-shirt to put on my back, that's all. Just because it's got a name on it.
Right. That it still means you can't afford it because it's ridiculously high for the price for what you're going to wear it for. Because you and I aren't necessarily the fashion hogs that, and probably you might be, but I'm sure not the person who can walk down the street and some girl's going to say, "Look at that! He's wearing a blankety blank shirt. That must have cost him half a week's wage." I've never been that way.
Yeah, Mike, I agree. Mike said that seeing more tool imports from India over here, and it's certainly better quality than Chinese goods. Yeah, India has been a very big tool manufacturer for quite a few years. I've just never bothered sort of promoting it too much. And most of the brassware comes out of India, like hinges and all that sort of thing.
Yes.
So they definitely have the manufacturing base there if they need to accelerate it.
And they got the labor force, that's for sure.
Yeah. Jay, just remember, go down about an inch at a time. That's going to look pretty good, I reckon, when it's finished.
Yes.
Yeah, I know, you've got a bit of a flat there. That won't matter.
One side, I was just saying one side's just a bit higher than the other. That's all. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, no. I'm going to have to go shortly. I've got an appointment in Cranbourne that I've got to go to.
Go see your fortune teller. You read her fortune.
No, they make a fortune out of me. I don't make any out of them. I've got to have an ultra scan on my shoulders.
What was that?
I've got to have an ultra scan on my shoulders.
What?
Because I can't lift my arms up above level.
Oh no. You might have to give me all of your tools.
No, I can still lift them up.
Well, I don't think that would happen. He could put you in the back shed, you and your lovely other half, and then stand over you with a bullwhip. I told you to do it this way. Whack. By the way, clean up before you turn the lights off. Then he'd have you working as a slave production turner.
No, there's only one slave around her, and that's me.
Well, we all need some young whippersnapper to take after us and take it on. They used to call it apprenticeships. Before that,
Yeah.
it was slavery. Oh, no, it was indentured servitude. And prior to that, it was slavery. But we don't see that very often. The way I think it should be is where it's the craftsman teaching.
Oh, we've still got apprenticeships in Australia, but they do it differently now. Like an apprentice here might work in 5 or 6 different places during their apprenticeship, whereas we worked just for one boss the whole time.
Yeah. No, we're seeing it here, but it's done through the secondary schools as an alternative school type program for some young people, where we used to incorporate it when I was a kid and call it industrial arts.
Yeah, I think Mike, they've realised that encouraging kids to go to university and get degrees suddenly left a big hole in the trades market.
It's like a motherfucker. Mute. Mute.
Because there aren't any computer people that can fix a leaking toilet or something like that. Or build a house. Yeah, you're dead right there, Mike. Mike says, yep, especially when 90% of the degrees are BS subjects. Now, if they had a degree in bullshit, I could easily pass that one, I reckon. You know, Jay, you'll be able to enter this in the Detroit area wood turners President's Challenge.
Why?
Well, you've lined up the grain and everything so that it's all equidistant, and the pith is dead center, and everything else is going right.
I forgot what the challenge was. That's why I asked.
John Jordan's with lining up the grain and everything, says it was all central and this and that.
Yep. All right, they can just send me the prize now if they want. No, I won't win it. I know why, because of the shipping. So, what? I can't really clean that up, can I? I gotta
What?
just do it and then put in some shavings later, right?
What are you talking about? Sorry.
You said you reminded me I needed to do an inch at a time on the walls. How am I meant to finish them other than using a scraper and stuff? No point sanding it, is there?
No, you can hand sand it.
Oh, that's like saying carbites to you, you know, hand sanding to me.
All right, I'm sorry, I've got to go. So I'll catch you all later.
You don't have to be sorry about it.
Okay.
Thanks for coming.
That's looking good. Just keep working on it slowly.
Oh, I might be here a little bit longer today because I feel like it. Oh, bugger off then. So is anyone else going to come in here and keep Dr. Bob company? He's going to get lonely, you know that, don't you? So Dr. Bob, your microphone's on mute too, by the way. But
Oh, yeah. I just had a youngin come in with a problem.
I got a very, very, very small compressor today.
You mean one that'll blow up just a balloon?
Pretty much, yeah. Look, I'll show you what it is.
Okay.
It still pumps air.
Yep, it's for a CPAP.
Nebulizer for asthma.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, blowing air out of the inside of something, you won't get a lot of pressure out of it.
Yeah, I know. I was going to give it a bit of back pressure and block up the tube a little bit to make it come out a bit more intense.
Oh, I had a question that popped up. Personal, and I don't know if it makes the same, but the size t-shirt. Want to get a club t-shirt out to you. Along with a patch and some stickers as a club member.
Yeah, that'd be all right. I was meaning to ask how much you pay for the jacket that you wear with the emblem on it.
Oh, a turning smock. I don't know what they're costing now. We buy them in big quantities, so they're like $30 or something. A lot cheaper than the commercial ones.
Yeah, I'm a bit bigger than most blokes too, so mine would
A double extra large.
maybe 3 or 4 XL. 3 XL or 4 XL, I think, depending on who makes it.
Oh, then what the question is have your lovely half measure your chest.
All the t-shirts that I own and jackets and stuff, they're all 3 and 4 XL.
But I'm not sure that the standards are the same. I really don't know because Chinese, I mean, for me, I have to buy a really big one.
Yep.
And like 4X, and that here I just wear a standard large.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm gonna stand out in the rain.
So it's a matter of figuring out what size.
I'll get it a measure later.
Yeah, just chest size in centimeters.
Yeah.
Put it in the
I came downstairs for no
the
reason.
forum, and then we can figure out.
Okay.
Because we can always take that and either in inches or centimeters, whichever you want to measure in, and because we can convert it and figure it out.
Yep. Okay. So when does John's challenge end for the club?
It's going to be at the next meeting, so it's what, 2 weeks?
Oh, okay.
You get in essence a month.
All right. I've never entered into any of the challenges. That's all. That's why I was curious.
There's no winner. There's no loser.
Yeah.
Well, the winner is drawn by a computer. So it's not based on, well, I can't say skill, but because a club like ours, we determine that one person might be a better artist at something than someone else doing something else in their life. But we do wood turning for the fun of it.
Yep.
So if it was always about talent, we'd only have probably 6 to 7 people win them all, and the rest wouldn't show up again. So
yeah,
it's easier done, by raffle.
That's kind of why sometimes I don't enter, because I see some people's work and I'm just like, I throw mine in the corner sometimes, and that's where they stay.
Oh yeah, and the thing is if you're stuck up, you love getting people say how great something is. But I find in groups, at least around the ones that I'll associate with, is that they will find something very positive to say. And knowing people, they often will, in a chat, if you put in the information when you write, I did this out of this wood, and this wood. And
Yep.
Is there anything that, you think I could have done a little better? Add the question saying that you're open for comments.
Yep.
And then you'll find people will be honest, and you'll find, like our last club meeting, where people, were really helping each other come up with all sorts of ideas, and they take it offline and do private lessons online.
Yep.
And they just want to do it. and the people who are the best in the club seem to be the ones that'll jump right into, well, do you have time next Thursday sometime? And we'll sit down, just set your phone up or your laptop and we'll see where you're going wrong.
Yep.
Or help you one-on-one.
Yep.
And now everyone has access to streaming.
Yeah.
For free, or if it's going to be a group, the club's got a group license, and if you need it for a meeting, yeah, it's not being used, you can use the license, to put 5 or 6 people together and work with them on something. We have meetings,
Yep.
board meetings, you name it, fundraiser meetings.
Yep.
And there's so many positive things that have come out of the negative of COVID.
Yeah, definitely. Like something I seen on a Facebook group yesterday. I was like, oh, I'm glad Robbo's not joined to this group. All right. They were talking about leaving the chuck key in the chuck and turning the lathe on. Oh.
Yeah.
Someone even commented and said, "Oh, I might try that and see what happens." Oh my God.
Well, it could do one of two things. It depends on the type of key and how you hold it in the chuck.
Yep.
And how fast the motor starts. And in what direction.
Yes.
If you're turning it one way and the chuck key immediately catches the lathe bed, and it'll unscrew the chuck. Because it can do that. It could unscrew the chuck, right? And whatever you've got in it is going to end up on the floor in pieces.
Look at this plug. Look, you can see the wires in it. That's how old it's a clear one. How cool is that?
I just can't get over the big plugs that you guys have, and especially in England with all the safeties on every plug, the GFI, ground fault interrupting.
Yep.
By default, it goes on every outlet, it seems. And I can understand it being 220, 240. We're just 110, but 110 will kill you too. So
yeah, yes.
But we have, and I've got ground fault on all my shop plugs. Period.
All right, see you later, Mike. Thanks for coming in. If I'm going to turn this nebulizer on, if it gets too loud, just let me know. All right. Is that all right?
That's fine.
All right. It's fine, but it cleans the dust out.
Yep, that's what you want. And the noise canceling function of StreamYard, once it turns on, you can hear StreamYard pick it up and drop it. Pick the sound up and then cancel it.
That's right. Then I've got it on the floor as well to try and dampen it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, you can hardly hear it, so I wouldn't worry about it because StreamYard's
Yep.
canceling it well.
I've got it right here.
I knew a guy that, and it's been years ago. You know what a hookah is?
A what, sorry?
A hookah,
Yep.
an Indian water pipe
Oh,
for
yeah.
smoking. He tied a a nebulizer pump to the hookah so he
Yep.
could enjoy the special tobacco better.
Yep.
Oh, those were some weird days. That was probably 35, 40 years ago.
Yep.
The nebulizer at that time was a regular pump, big pump in a
Yeah.
metal box.
This thing's probably nearly as old as me, to be honest. This one.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
But it
that's
sure
not old.
made his water pipe go.
Yeah, I bet it did.
Yeah. But that will clean out your switch.
Yep.
That blowing into the switch will clean it out. And so what have you done today? But you just got up. But
Yeah. No, not much. Not a great deal today so far. How about
so,
yourself?
oh, just spent it in the shop doing that little wooden box for a while.
Oh, yeah.
But I say I
Yep.
hadn't carved before, so I'm in there with a little mallet and
Yep.
carving set and made a mess out of it. But it's something, and I've never done before. And if you hold it
Yep.
far enough away, you don't notice it.
Did, did you enjoy the carving?
Yeah, it was something different.
There you go. Oh, yeah. Yep. That can't
Yeah,
nice.
I took a paper and I traced where it should go and put
Yep.
it all on there, and then later on stippled it with a little pipe. I don't know what the pipe's made out of, but that made the little bumps in it.
Yep. What wood is it?
I don't know. It was a project that I started probably 10 years ago, and it's
Oh,
been
okay.
sitting there.
Yep.
And the big thing was getting the mitered joints and all that done for a little box.
Yep. It'll be a bit tricky on it.
No, well, I've got all the power tools to do it. Got
Okay.
nice table saw, a couple band saws, a
Yep.
router table, got two, so I've got a shop that I can do all that stuff in. And then the portable tools to go with it.
Yes.
And at the time, it was some sort of, I forget what it was, but I remember cutting the wood enough to make a dozen of them.
Yep. How many did you end up making?
Oh, most of them were, it was a project we did at the tech shop when I worked there as a woodworking class, doing
Oh,
flat
yeah.
work. All I had to do was to cut the wood up on a miter saw, uh, get the appropriate angles, because it's just three pieces of wood.
Yep.
That's what you'd give them. You give them a bottom piece, a top piece which was thicker, and they had to
Yep.
use a belt sander to shape it.
Yep.
Uh, and then the box walls was one piece. They cut the miters with a small miter saw or by hand on a miter box. And it
I just
started
make.
off being a project in being able to use the hand tools.
Yep.
You know, a regular miter box, not an electric one or a powered one. You put
Yep.
it in and you use a small miter saw to cut it, you know, to cut your angles off so you can
Yes.
put the bottom pieces together
Oh, yeah.
or the side pieces and then glue the bottom on and use sanding to make the bottom look like it fits. That way you sand the sides as you do the edge of the top and bottom at the same time.
Yep.
Then you cut it because you glue the top and bottom on, and then you cut it for the lid to open. You know,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a closed box, and then you cut it.
Yep. So it doesn't have a gap.
Right. The big thing is keep the grain and the pattern in the wood the same. So as
Yep.
you have the side grained on the side and the front, but the wood is such that the grain itself matches for the side of the lid and the box.
Yep.
It's a continuation because it's all one piece until
Okay.
you cut it.
Yep. I'm doing secret sanding. I can't show you. Sorry.
Okay. I might make a suggestion and take it for what it's worth. Have you got anything that'll help back your sandpaper? A sponge or something? The reason being is by sanding it with two or three fingers pushing down, uh, the pads of your fingers have more pressure than between fingers. If you so you end up getting uneven sanding. Even a little Scotch Brite pad that'll help hold the sandpaper straight between them will
Yep.
help you sand.
Robbo said if I sand up and down like this instead of across like this, it'll do it better. It won't leave so many ridges in it. If I
Yeah,
sand up and down. Hey, how you going, Crazy Shepherd? They just come into the chat.
yeah. grab a hold and pop in with us. The link's in the chat. But I always back my sandpaper up with a little bit of backing pad.
Yep.
Yeah, just something.
I put a bit of cloth in there.
Yeah, I see. Now I find that in the kitchen department of stores, we get these big green and yellow and gray and dark brown pads
Yep.
out of plastic and not solid. It's woven. Scotch
Okay.
Brite's the name we use here because
Oh
3M
yeah.
turns
Yep.
them out.
Yeah, we
But
get
I
them
use
here.
them. Yeah, and they're by themselves can be used for sanding, but
Yep.
really fine stuff. But that's what I use for a backing.
I got
Or a felt, if it's really fine, like super fine, I use a little felt background, back piece. It just, to me, maybe it's psychosomatic, but or suggestive, but I think it gives a better. You don't have the ridges and uneven pressure as much with your fingers.
I got this.
How thick is it? Yeah, that would work.
They're scourers, but I buy them in that size.
Yeah, I wish I could get them that big.
That was when we were in Victoria. I found these.
Yeah, just cut a piece off the size of the sandpaper that you like to use, but not necessarily the full width. Say the sandpaper is 2 inches wide, you like, make it 1 7/8.
Yep.
That way the paper can roll over the edge occasionally if you're hitting the edge of something.
Yes.
I just find it makes it a smoother sanding, and maybe it's in my head, but I've got felt pads I use too
Yep.
for real fine stuff when I start getting up in the from about 1,000 up.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know what these ones are. These guys, this Scour place has got a Facebook page. You might be able to go there and find out where they sell them in America. Yeah.
I've just had the I've just had my lunch call. So. All right, I'm gonna knock it on the head. I've got my lunch call. So, but I will.
Okay.
I'm gonna come back and do a live later. But you'll be asleep, so there'll be a live for you to watch later.
I watch it. Believe me. Hey,
Yep.
you still got the duck in the corner. You haven't
Yeah.
been able to update your license?
No, I don't get paid until Friday.
Oh. Okay. Just
I'm
wish I
limited.
could hand this out to you. That would help you.
No, you keep it.
It won't go. I keep trying.
Buy yourself
It's only
something.
$40.
Yeah, I know. $40 worth of groceries you can buy for yourself.
Well, in this case, it's one of the teenagers. He turned 18 today
Oh yeah.
and needed a game. And that was money he got to buy a game, but he needed to use plastic to buy the game.
Oh,
So he'll use my plastic and he gives me the money.
yep.
But he's been good for it.
Yep.
Sometimes you just got to do that.
Yes. Well, at least he gave them money, though.
Well, that's the only way. I mean, they have. One moment I find that they're not honest about it. There's been
Uh-huh.
times when I've been sound asleep and it's like they needed $10 on a
Yep.
game in order to buy some extra. Because I don't play games.
Yeah.
Evidently, playing games today is very expensive because they always
Yeah.
want you to pay more every time.
Yep. Yep.
And then they charge you upwards of $100 to buy the game, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's stupid, isn't it?
Yeah, but he's got one of these three-dimensional headsets, you know, in the hand gear, and him and his friend were playing today in them, and I thought for sure they were going to hit each other as they were playing in the big room because they couldn't see except through their headsets.
Yep. Going to walk into each other, right? That'd be interesting. That'd make a good live.
Well,
actually.
it's like the movie Ready Player One.
Yeah.
And I find that that's a freebie now on YouTube. Ready Player One. I remember when that came out. That was the hottest movie for gamers.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was so old until you said the other day that you read it as a book as a kid.
Yeah, I did.
No one comes up with anything original these days, do they? They just steal it from the older generation.
Well, they put their own twist on it.
Yeah.
That's it. They put their own twist.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to knock on the head now. My lunch is
Okay.
getting cold.
Go eat and
Yeah,
we'll
thanks for
catch
coming
you
in.
tomorrow. Oh, yeah. Every day, anytime.
Okay, awesome.
You know how to get me. You know, hit the button on chat and I answer it all the time.
Yeah. Okay,
Take
thank
care.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. See you later, everyone. I'll come back on a bit later. I want to kind of get this finished today. Come back on. Maybe about an hour Oh, pardon me. About an hour or something. Damn you, fidgety mouse. Every time I go to hit the end broadcast, it jumps away from it.